Characters are so fantastic. I liked it very much. I was very optimistic afterwards.
Yeah, thank you.
What was your aim with these characters, to choose these characters and to make this slice of life that you show?
I think that my main goal in making the film was to explore the paradox of life, really, to show that you can't. First of all, you can't make judgments about people, and you can't make judgments about the choices people make, because ultimately you never know where someone's going to end up. And in many respects, I mean, it is a bit of an insight into my philosophical point of view about life, that out of darkness comes light, and that you can't really reach a level of enlightenment without going through a period of darkness, or a period of doubt, or a period where you perceive yourself as having less than. Everybody has to go through that. That's part of growth. And I think all the characters in the movie go on a journey, all wanting one thing but doing something they don't want to do, and each of them in their journey find a person. With Eugene, it's the professor. With Holly, it's Francine, the girl in the strip club. With Juliet, it's Sardeep in the camp. They each find someone unexpected that helps them on their journey, or advises them, or inspires them. And I think that's what happens to us in life. And when I was growing up, if it hadn't been for a handful of people who came from very unexpected places that said to me, you know, go for it and realize your dream, and this is what you should do, even in a non-obvious way, didn't say those words directly, but somehow inspired me in an unexpected way. I think we all get sort of angels that come into our lives, and they come in very strange packages sometimes. Sometimes they look like the devil, and they end up pushing you in the direction that you need to go in. So I think that a lot of the story is about that.
Indeed, I had the feeling that the film has a lot to do with you, of course. Every artist puts part of his biography in his artistic work.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
And so it's also
some conscious and some unconscious.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on the conscious things? Like, are there certain quotations? We hear about African children, we hear about India. The professor looks a little bit like Bob Geldof. You have quotations of your own work.
That's good. I didn't think of that. Well, the character Professor Flynn was based on my first ballet teacher, who was one of those people who was a huge influence on my life when I was growing up. And I loved him dearly. And he's the one who said to me, when I was growing up in the Midwest and not surrounded by very much culture, that I needed to get out of there and I needed to pursue my dreams. And he really changed my life. And he ended up dying of AIDS, and he went blind before he died. And so the character of the professor was inspired by him, and his name was Flynn also. So, and then of course Holly's character, the ballet dancer who can't get a job. I mean, that was the story of my life for years and years when I first moved to New York after studying dance for so many years, and having this dream to realize that there was a million other dancers in New York City, and I was never going to make a proper living at it, and it was kind of ultimately depressing, and I had to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. So I also understood that impulse. And then the character of Juliet, you know, I think everyone has an aspect of their childhood, well, maybe not everyone, but most people have an aspect of their childhood where something traumatic happened to them. And she has a sort of strange antagonistic relationship with her sister, which I can relate to, and she wants to take her desire to kind of, in a way, save herself, and she puts that out into the world and save the child in her by saving other children. So, and she's very righteous, and there's an aspect of me in her character as well. So yeah, they kind of make up the triangle of me. Kind of. Maybe I'm a square, not a triangle.
It It's really amazing, the complexity of thoughts and of inner life that you put into this film. I'm really fascinated right now.
Well,
thank you.
well, the other bit of advice that I get from writers is that, you know, you should write what you know about. And I hope I know about myself. And I think most people, when they write, end up writing about themselves anyways, whether it's conscious or unconscious.
It's a new profession that you started. Maybe you go on with it, with the directing.
Not maybe, yes, definitely.
So it was a positive experience.
Yeah,
what was it
I loved it.
What was the most important or what most interesting part for you? Is the editing room, the work
No.
with the artists, the writing of the book?
I think the writing of it I enjoyed the most, and then going from the writing of it to rehearsing it with the actors and hearing my words being translated through them and seeing it take on even another layer of meaning and interpretation. I love the way your words and your thoughts can change when they go through someone else's brain. So there's some kind of magic there, and I enjoyed that the most.
And what about the editing room? Isn't that the most creative moment, maybe, when you compose the thing or everything?
It is, but it's also frustrating because I'm not an editor, so I had to sit behind the editor, and I wanted to press all the buttons. And it's true, with editing, you can make so many. You realize also in the editing that a lot of things you thought were precious and important need to go, and streamlining things and cutting things down, and good editing changes things so much, and so that's a real learning experience too.
Let's talk about music in relation to this film. It's not a music film like the Stones film that was shown here a couple of days ago, but it has, from my point of view, lots to do with music. Not only that the main actor is a musician, but also the composition of the film is changing of rhythm and stuff, and you have also quotations of music, your own, Britney Spears, which is maybe a little bit ironic, I don't know.
Perhaps. I didn't choose it at the time, knowing any of these things would be so sort of newsworthy. But music obviously is a big part of my life, and I think the other thing I realized while I was editing it is how different music could change the feeling and the mood and the tone of each scene, and how powerful music is. And oftentimes when we were shooting the different scenes, I would be playing music. I always played opera music for Richard to get him into the mood. And obviously Eugene's music was a big inspiration for the film. And his uncle, the whole time we were filming, Eugene kept giving me music to listen to from various family members. And I ended up scoring a lot of the film with his uncle's music. So.
Why did you choose him and this gypsy kind of music? What does it give to you?
Because I love gypsy music. I always have. Yeah. Don't ask why. I don't know.
It's just there.
Yeah.
Why did you choose Berlin as a city of the world to start with this film? Maybe Cannes is more glamorous. Berlin is just Berlin.
Yeah, but Berlin's cooler. It's small. I don't think the Cannes Film Festival is the appropriate place for Filth and Wisdom. I think that it's a perfect fit, and I think that Berlin has been for many years. It's one of my favorite cities, and there's an interesting art scene here. I think people think outside the box, more experimental, more unconventional. So I think in a way it's perfect here. Yeah.
For me, the film I liked so much because it has a positive ending. It's maybe it reminded me a little bit of the fairy tales you have written for the children. Is it important for you to encourage people to go on and not to start or to end up with the bad things in life?
Well, I don't want to tell a dark story and just have it end up being dark. What's the point of that? I think that it was important that you felt hopeful at the end, and that as you followed each journey of each person, however humiliated they may have felt in the course of their journey, that there was always hope at the end. And I think that's very important for me. Yeah. Light at the end of the tunnel.
Yes, what you mentioned.
Yeah.
You are reaching a very special date this year with your birthday. Is this work like a kind of a summary of what the things that you have done, so that you look back and at the same moment look forward with a new direction?
Well, I don't think it's a summary. I think it's an aspect of me, and I think I have many more stories to tell. So for me, it's the beginning of another journey. Yeah.
When will the film come out, and does it have anything to do with their next maybe CD?
I'm not sure when the film's going to come out. I'm in conversations with iTunes right now about releasing it. I like the idea of releasing it in an unconventional way. So we'll see what happens with that. I don't think it's going to have anything to do with my record, though. So.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. My pleasure.